Hey everybody, so I'm here today doing a quick video for you on the Wolfman, which is done by Paul Braddock. It's part of a Monocomp 12 Monocure competition going on. So I am entering this contest and working on the model now. I'm doing some dry fitting on it right now. It just come off the 3D printer and cured, and I'm getting ready to go into paint or go into primer here in a little bit. All right, everybody, so this is essentially a 1/6 scale model. I've got everything printed and cured. It's a very, very simple model, but I just kind of wanted to go over with you and show you some painting techniques, like as far as fur and hair. So we're going to do some stuff on that. I'll show you how I actually dry brush that. And then I'm going to show you some different things that I'm going to do to the base to make it stand out a little bit more. This is for a competition, and as you can see, this is a pretty simple base. It's very thin. There's really nothing to it, but I'm going to like spruce it up a little bit. I'm going to put some my little touch to it, if you will. But right now everything is sanded, and I'm getting ready to dry fit it right now. Everything fits together fairly well. It's pretty simple to put together, and I am getting ready to glue everything and then throw it into primer, and then we're going to start on the actual paint itself. So yeah, see, pretty simple. I mean, it's a neat little model, and wish me luck on this contest, guys. So this is the Wolfman head in primer. As you can see, the detail in this thing for a 1/6 sculpt, this is really nice. I mean, there's a lot of detail in the skin, the nose, the teeth, all of that was exceptionally well done. So this is the body, all put together and in primer. And now it's time to get started on the paint. So this is the white that I'm using for the shirt from Citadel. Right now what I'm basically doing is I'm going with the airbrush and blocking in all the color, getting all the basic colors down, and then going into the details later. I will go back in and do some highlights and shading a little bit later on. I'm going to do some pastel shading as well as some airbrush shading in the shirt. And this is a grayish blue color from Vallejo that I will actually use for the pants. I'll be doing a heavy wash on those and accent it with some lighter gray for the highlights. Wanted to dirty it up a little bit so it'll also be in a heavy wash. And adding the brown for the fur or hair, this is basically, again, just going back in and blocking out everything. I'll go back in with another wash onto the fur and add a lighter brown to accentuate some of the highlights and bring out some of the depth. This piece is highly detailed, so I really want to make those details come out. Lots of the fur coming out of the shirt. I just want to make sure I get those details as well. And the head is pretty much simple, doing a flat brown for it, and I will actually go back in and do a heavy wash on it as well. But for the skin, I'll do a lighter brown, you'll see here in a minute. To bring out that skin, I will actually use a lighter brown on top of that. I won't do a heavy dark wash on the skin because I want to make it stand out. The focal piece of this is the face, so I really want it to stand out with the teeth and the eyes. And this is the roadmap to what I'm working with. And here's the black wash from Vallejo. I'm just going to go in and add that pretty heavy onto the hair and onto the pants. And I'll be going back in a little bit later and adding the highlights. I'll do a lot of dry brushing for this. And this is just to capture those details. It has a lot in this model. I really want these pieces to stand out. in the hair and on the shirt. And this beastie brown here, I'll go back in and do a lot of dry brushing for the face and for the hair on the arms and legs, using a lighter color for the hair on the face and a little bit darker for the feet, but I'll also go in and use a lighter color on the edges of the toes, the paws, and the heels, just to make those lighter areas stand out a little bit more. And then going back in and doing little small things such as the hands and the heels of the feet with a lighter brown. I really won't do any heavy washes on it. I'll actually go back in and highlight some of those with a lighter brown to make it stand out, to give it a little bit of contrast. And here I'm showing you basically how I use pastels to do some shading on the shirt. I did a video on this earlier with the 4 paint effects that you can use. Might want to go back and look at that video, some useful information for you. But this works really well if you don't have an airbrush. It's a little bit of a crude method, but it does work. And an appropriately titled beastie brown is what I'm using for the face and the skin tones on the face. I'll go back in and airbrush those in, and I'll actually just do a little bit of a lighter highlights for the skin tones. And here I'm using the airbrush to go in and dirty up the shirt a little bit more, get in some of those undertones a little bit more shading, and make it stand out a little bit. I did already do the blood splatter onto the shirt. You can also see that in that video with the 4 paint effects as well. This just makes the shirt weathered up real good, because Wolfman does not have a clean shirt. And all the details in the face, just finishing up the eyes here. I'm sorry I did not record the painting of the mouth and the teeth, but it's pretty simple, straightforward. And on the base, I'll use a Panzer Series Flat Earth Brown to go in and just hand brush this. And this is where I will do a heavy wash on the whole entire base with a black and highlight with appropriate colors in a lighter form, just giving a little bit of the illusion of a little bit of light on the edges of the rocks and on the tree trunk. It is a dark piece, so I don't want to make it too light, but yet I don't want to make it too dark. And I'll also go in as well and add a couple of touches, since this is a competition piece. I don't want to overwhelm the base, but I want the focal point to still be the figure, but I'll just do a little bit just to give it a nice touch. And with the gray here on the rock, I'll actually go back in with a little lighter tone onto the edges and really make that stand out as well. And this is the final piece. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, guys. I appreciate it. Wish me luck on this competition. And until the next time, see ya!